10th Street corridor in Greeley was a little unusual. We have about 4 miles, 11 traffic signals, unevenly spaced, different traffic flows in the AM and in the PM and on the weekends, and we have been running time-of-day plans out there for a long time. The state traffic engineer thought it would be a good idea to try the in-sync system since there weren't any adaptive projects in Colorado.
Rhythm comes out with this in-sync processor that says, hey, listen, it's going to do it all for you. It's going to think about it. It's going to measure it. It's going to adapt to traffic flow. Wait a minute. First of all, we're skeptical. We're engineers. Let's see it. Prove it first. We were looking at hopefully this in-sync processor and the way it adapts the traffic signals to lessen the amount of rear-end crashes.
When you have really bad signal timing is that people get frustrated. And when people get frustrated, they make poor choices. If they're just moving along, they have a better attitude and they're safer drivers. It was sold to us as more of a plug-and-play system. So that it was something that we could operate within our own central system software.
That was one of the reasons why we chose it. It was a plug and play. We didn't have to do many changes to what we currently have. Whereas some of the other programs that are out there, they require system changes. We didn't have to.
The people at Rhythm Engineering were incredibly helpful. This was all new to us. I mean, we were starting off at the bottom of the learning curve. And throughout the entire process and design process to put this project together, they were there every step of the way telling us what we would need. Right now we feel real comfortable with operating it, maintaining it, and making any changes that we need to make to it. So it's been great. The newspaper wrote a big article for us on how the city and state finally did something right. Traffic signal is always that bad boy that gets a lot of bad press. Everybody thinks we did a really good job using the in-sync system.
We had great success. We had our executive director come up on a tour. He traveled 10th Street, and he did not have to stop once. Wow. It was his topic of conversation the rest of the day, that he did not have to stop on this corridor once. That's all because of in-sync. It's all because of these in-sync processors have learned what the traffic flow is like, have learned to talk to each other through their communication system, and have been able to say, I need to turn green.
InSync came along at a time when we were looking at starting our ITS program. They were able to offer solutions that we felt like for the money we could get the best bang for the buck.
We had a need to do something with our traffic. We could go out or we could streamline what we had. And we made the choice after meeting with Rhythm that we wanted to make sure we could move more efficiently versus spending the money trying to widen. We could spend money on our entire county upgrading to a Rhythm system for less than we could do one major widening project.
The product optimizes our main corridors and side street operation. That's what it does. It gets the most out of the roadway using this time to the best that it can, depending on what's going on minute by minute, rather than trying to make these adjustments manually with technicians or other staff.
When we first started this project, we put out I guess it was 10 or 11 intersections we did. We looked at it, we realized how great it was, but we also saw some things we'd like to change about it. We called them and they didn't say, well, this, they said, okay, let's do it.
One of the primary differences for us is support. They have support staff that's available every day that we need them. We can make the calls. They can look at what's going on in real time in our area and provide solutions to make the fixes necessary to make our system work. And it's like having several traffic engineers on your staff without having to pay the full-time salary it would take to keep them on your staff.
The results of their equipment is instant. The minute you turn it on, the results are there. Within 5 minutes of turning on our initial system, traffic completely changed on our main corridor. It was night and day difference. So I wish you could see the before in person to see the great benefits we're receiving from this thing.
We don't really have to do anything. The system does what it does, and we observe, look at what's going on, and again, we make decisions that maybe some improvements that we could make, but we don't do a lot of day-to-day tweaking of the system at all or any kind of input. We just don't do it. We don't have to.
All you've been hearing about is traffic, green lights, getting traffic moving, but I want to tell you some other benefits that we experienced that we had no clue we were going to experience these things. These guys don't have to get out of their bed at 10 o'clock at night. They pull up their iPad or their laptop or their iPhone and they can look at traffic. They know what's going on. So when that guy calls and says your signal's hung up and it hasn't changed for 10 minutes, we can look at it and say, well, no, it's not. We know exactly what happened. Huge benefit.
We did the before and after study with our collision history on the first section that we installed, and we had around 30% reduction in collisions in the first section that we installed. It's been amazing. The corridor drives differently. The system, just by nature of moving the traffic like it does, has enabled this reduction in the collisions. Our traffic volumes have gone up, but the collisions have gone down. We're very satisfied with this result.
I was reading the sign here. It says it reduces car crashes. It does reduce them, but what it also does is allows our dispatch, which is in Appling, about 15 miles from here, they can see the same cameras that InSync is looking at. So when they get that call that says there's a major wreck at Washington Road in Bobby Jones, there's people everywhere, cars exploded, and they send 10 deputies that way. Well, now they don't do that. Dispatch pulls the cameras up and looks and sees a fender bender and says, all right, I need one deputy, no lights, no sirens, take your time. So now we don't have our deputies risking their lives trying to get somewhere they don't have to be in a hurry. It also allows us to make sure if it is a big wreck, a bad wreck, we do send the proper response, EMTs, fire, and police. So for those of you in public safety, it's a great benefit for that also.
Working with Rhythm Engineering has been a pleasure. We're very pleased with what they've done. I would recommend them to anyone, and it's been a very, very good experience with Rhythm